Hi, I'm Dr. Adetoun Musa.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hussein Musa,
Welcome to Healing Talks with Kingdom Docs.
and we're going to teach you how to defeat disease today.
That sounds really cool, defeating disease. So this is a continuation of how to be strong or bold and courageous in just kind of this atmosphere of warfare. You're trying to get better, you're trying to get your healing, but the enemy is really just reaming at you. And again, the battle it's not against flesh and blood. So this is a mental battle.
Yes. And when you're dealing with an illness, there's a physical problem,
Yes.
but there is a mental battle.
Yes.
And there's fatigue involved, not just on you, but on the caretakers, even on the physicians. For example, if you're in the ICU, a lot of times the doctors are there for 12-hour shifts, sometimes full day shifts, and it's a battle, especially if you have a patient who's not doing well. You're reacting to every change in their vital sign, every change in their blood pressure.
Yeah.
You're looking at the labs to see why is their hemoglobin lower, or what is this new infection that cropped up? Are they reacting to the antibiotics? And there's this back and forth, and after a time it can get very, very exhausting. Now imagine if you're the loved one of somebody dealing with a very complex illness, and you have all these doctors telling you different information. It can become mentally exhausting.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, so the exhaustion is an enemy tactic, wearing you down with this seesaw roller coaster of events, especially when you're struggling with illness. How do you replenish yourself in that environment?
That's a very good question. And the truth is, you are not the source.
Yeah.
You can't replenish yourself.
Yes. So in Psalm 23, I love Psalm 23 because it talks about how God restores our soul. Okay, it talks about, laying down beside still waters. And that for me is a picture of rest, And resting is really great for your body, getting 8 hours of sleep at night.
Who gets 8 hours nowadays?
Nobody. But these are things that I recommend to my patients to sleep. And a lot of times sleep is interrupted, and then you cannot replenish yourself with a good night's sleep. So I'm talking about physical rest and physical relaxation and sleep. But there is also a spiritual component to that as well.
Yes, and I'm Dr. Hussein Musa.
I'm Dr. Adetoun Musa.
And this is Healing Talks with Kingdom Docs.
And we are discussing strategies or battle plans
to defeat disease.
Defeating disease is very important. And we are talking about how it's so important to rest, not just physically, but also in a spiritual sense when you are exhausted with all of the ups and downs with your health, right? And one way is really to surrender to God. That's it. That's how you rest.
It's funny, you're saying, how do you rest in the middle of the storm?
Yeah.
You know who rested in the middle of the storm?
Well, Jesus did. He was in a boat with his disciples. There was a horrible storm, and they thought their boat was going to sink. But Jesus was just asleep. And, the disciples were really beside themselves because they went down and woke him up and said, "Don't you care that we're going to die?" And this is exactly how health battles are.
It's true. There's times where you're questioning God. I'm suffering. I'm struggling. Don't you care? I'm praying. Aren't you going to help me? And God's example is rest.
You rest. You rest in that promise that God will never leave you and forsake you. And you rest in the promise that by his stripes or by his wounds, you are healed. And you rest in the promise that you're in a storm right now, but he will see you to the other side.
That is his promise, isn't it?
That is rest, and it's surrendering to God's good, perfect, and pleasing will.
Well, that's all the time we have today on Healing Talks with Kingdom Docs.
Visit us at kingdomdocs.com for more information about our private practice and also our nonprofit, the Kingdom Healthcare System.
God bless.
Bye-bye.